And then I was taking the sleeping pills, and those things you can overdose on and die, especially when you're an 11-year-old at 100 pounds. Or like you stop believing in God because it's like, how could a God do that? But it's like the exact opposite happened. I mean,
in my mind, I never even
15.
thought about you whatsoever.
Yeah.
Me and Mom never did. We didn't think about you doing something nefarious like the way that you did it.
Okay, well, it's not nefarious.
It's about one person making a decision that he or she wants his character to be able to affect other people's lives in a positive way, like the butterfly effect. Hey guys, Wade White, Measured by Character. Man, I gotta tell you this. For the first time ever, I'm very humbled. I am, just a second ago before we went live, I could really sense in my heart that this moment, this segment, this podcast, I'm honored. I'm very humbled, and I know that you will be touched by this podcast, and the reasons why I'm saying is because this is the first time ever me and my son.
My name's Cooper, by the way.
Cooper! Super Cooper.
I don't know why it took me so long to get on here.
Well, only because, you know what? There's a perfect timing.
Yeah, that's true.
And if y'all don't know my son, what he does full time, do I want to address that, or do you want to say?
I mean, I'm a streamer, right? I play video games and talk to people online. I've never done a podcast before, but yeah, this will be my first time. But yeah, I'm a streamer. I play Fortnite, which is like, most people probably know what Fortnite is, but I've been playing it for like 5 years. I stream it online to an audience, and trying to take it like professionally and become like a pro in it and make money in tournaments and all that. But yeah, I've been doing that consistently for a while now.
And he's been doing a fantastic job. What are you, and I know you don't like talking about it, but what are you ranked now as far as in Fortnite in North America?
Well, they have like a power ranking system, and it like tallies up all of your tournaments and how you've done comparatively to all the other players. And I'm top 250 in America right now. When
you say a top 250, how many people is that out of?
Oh, I mean, there's a lot of people that play Fortnite.
And
a lot of them are really bad at the game, but probably like 100,000 people, definitely more. But like, probably out of like the people that take it serious, kind of like I do, probably like 50,000 people. But there's probably like 500,000 people that play tournaments, if not like 1 million or something like that.
But would you say that they probably still have like 1 million people that play it? Maybe?
Yeah, I mean they'll play it for fun, you know. It's like it's a tournament or whatever, and they're like, "Oh, it's cool. We can play a tournament," even if they don't take it serious.
But to be top 250 in what they call it, for us generation that has gray hair, they actually call it e-sport.
Yeah, esports.
I think it was Mom that told me. Is this real? Mom told me that the Olympics has now. Is that real or is that fake?
It's real, but basically, it's just like how to aim instead of like being a tournament where you put people against people and all that. You're just like using the mouse and shooting at a box. Like if you were like a professional, what is that called? Bower?
Archery.
Yeah. Is that an Olympic sport?
Yeah, I believe it is actually.
So it's basically that, except you're shooting at a target on the computer. So
Gotcha.
it's not really like.
So it's not like what you went to where you went to PAX.
No.
Is that right?
No,
PAX. But PAX is where you went. So let me say this. So how old were you at that time? Were you?
I was 18.
17 or 18?
18.
You were 18.
Maybe 19.
But we gotta rewind the clock back to say that he just didn't just wake up one afternoon and begin to.
I mean, I'll explain it. I graduated high school, and then
I think you need to go all the way back to when we bought you the.
Oh God.
Yeah, talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, I've always wanted to do like content creation. I've always wanted to be like showing my gameplay to other people. At least, so YouTube was the number one that I always wanted to do, and you guys bought me this little recording device for my Xbox.
Yeah.
And I was like recording me sniping on Call of Duty, and then I would get on my computer, get the gameplay, and edit it up for like montages and
how old were you at that?
Add music and all that. I was like 10 or 11. Yeah. I actually got a video that made. Do you remember that video?
I remember that video. How many? I don't want to inflate the numbers, but how many?
It was a 250,000 It was 250,000 views. But that was back in that was back in 2010, and so getting 250K on YouTube in 2010 was like getting 2 mil now.
But do you still have that? Well, yeah, I didn't want to run over that point. Yeah, you're right about that. 250,000 views.
Yeah, views back then. If you got 200K, that's basically like a mil now.
Viral.
2 mil now.
Yeah. Well, and it's pretty cute to listen to because he was 10.
What's up, guys?
Yeah. He still had his baby voice.
Yeah.
And so you were doing it all the way back then, and of course.
Yeah.
You know, if we have some people on here who have heard Measured, there are sometimes when I talk about the fact that our entire family have been gamer family. Mm-hmm. There were times that, you know, we all three, Ryan and you and me,
at first
we would all play.
At first, I didn't even have a computer, and you and Ryan were playing like World of Warcraft, and I would just sit there and watch you guys play. And I think I begged you enough, and you were annoyed at me, and you were like, "All right, I got you. Here's a computer." And I remember leveling up like a character, and then y'all helping me out on quests and doing all that.
Do we talk about? Did we talk about? Do you mind?
I don't know. We can talk about anything.
We can talk about anything. I love it. So, it's okay. So there's a game that's called World of Warcraft. Some people call it WoW. It's been around forever. And there's been probably a lot of viewing audience that have played that game at some point in time. It still is going today. But right at its height, they had groundbreaking numbers of people that played that game. And Cooper, during this time, you see where I'm going? Yeah. So, and you don't mind me talking about that, right?
No, I mean, I don't care.
Okay, all right.
That shows that I'm smart.
Well, so
what do you mean? Well, like I'm not smart.
No, you are.
I saw that.
No, you get that from me. So, oh yeah, and Mama too, because I know Mama's going to watch this. Yes, Mama, he gets it from you. So, so Cooper at this time, 10, maybe 11, right around in there.
I think I was like 9 or 10.
Because you hadn't even learned how to even do the keyboard yet.
No, yeah, this was before I got into Call of Duty and I started recording for YouTube.
Okay,
yeah.
So
I was like 9 or 10.
9 or 10.
Yeah.
So 9 or 10, he's playing this game, and you know how when you learn how to play, how you learn how to do the keyboard. I mean, 2 fingers to get everything, and he was self-taught in doing the keyboard as well. And one afternoon, we get a letter in the mail that from an attorney on behalf of WoW that says cease and desist. I think that's how you call it.
Yeah, it was
I might have got it backwards,
letter.
But
no, it was a cease and desist letter because I had downloaded a program that allowed me to generate currency for the game out of air.
Oh my gosh!
And make my character run super fast, and so I could beat people to places faster, and then I could fly in the sky.
So I called them and I said, that would not happen inside this home. You have to. I remember talking to the attorney on the telephone saying, we don't do that. This is not this type of family. There's no way that. And they said, sir, the game has an IP address, and the IP address is coming out of that house.
Yeah.
And I said,
well, it was like the account, because I mean, it was your account. Or no.
No.
It was my account.
Well, because I'm fixing to bring Ryan into it, because Ryan played the game as well. And I went to Ryan first because Ryan was older, and thinking in my mind, I never even thought about you whatsoever. Yeah. Me and Mom never did. We didn't think about you doing something nefarious like the way that you did it.
Okay, well, it's not nefarious. I mean, it was
you
just
didn't like that name?
No, it's just I'm not evil for it.
No.
It's just a video game.
Well, we do have the memory, and the memory's kind of, because I mean, I got on to Ryan. Sorry, and I got on to Ryan, and he said, "No, Dad, I didn't do any of that." And I said, "You sure, boy?" And he said, "No, and you were the last one." And I said, "Cooper," and of course, during that time,
I probably lied.
You did.
Yeah.
You could lie. Oh my goodness, you were such a. I hate to say it, but.
No, I mean, I lied about everything. Well, I feel like that's a typical kid thing to do, right? Like, I feel like most kids are gonna lie when they're in trouble.
No, I don't think so.
You're trying to make me look bad.
No.
Not a liar.
No, it's no. But. I mean, I know it happened, and of course it did decease. We didn't do it anymore. There was none of that, and so. But I do like the fact that I have the memory of it, and it, of course, really brought an awareness that Cooper, being the age of 10, was a lot smarter, and was able to manipulate the computer in ways that that I was not aware.
Yeah.
So I became more aware of the situation after that.
Yeah. And then, I mean, I've been a gamer my whole life, so it was that, and then I wanted to get into YouTube, and there was like this big clan named Optic, and then another one named FaZe, and they did like huge Call of Duty videos, and that was basically like, that was kind of like my dream, right? Mm-hmm. And then I think I got like 1,000 subscribers on YouTube back then, which was a huge deal. The 250K video and all that.
How old were you then?
Like 11.
11?
Yeah, 10 or 11. And then Ryan passed away and all that. I just kind of like forgot about all that. Also,
for a brief time. Yeah, due to the grief.
Yeah, well, I would say, I never really like tried to do content creation again until probably my senior year in high school. And so the YouTube stuff and all that was probably 6th grade. And then I stopped until like my senior year. So what? 6 years? 7 years? Maybe. Because I was 11, and then I started streaming when I was 18, so 7 years.
And Ryan passed when you were 14.
No, it was 12. 12.
Was it 12?
Yeah. Yeah, no, 13. Because he was always 5 years older than me, and he was 18 when he passed, right?
Yes.
So I was 13, yeah.
Well, you know, the audience, of course, you know, those that have heard the message of Measured by Character, you've always heard it from and me and him talked about this before, and he said, "Dad, there's nothing that's off limits," and I think is a beautiful thing, because we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony, and that testimony is the good, the bad, the ugly, and a lot of times we want to stay on the top surface.
Yeah. Because
top surface is easier to I can position that top surface easier and let you see what I want you to see, but once it starts getting down into the foundation part,
and all that.
Yeah.
Especially doing like a podcast and all that.
Well, so. Yeah. But you know what's so freeing, and the fact that you're 22 today. No, you're 24.
Yeah.
Well, I got all the numbers all wrong. I apologize.
You're good.
So, there's probably some people saying, you don't even know what age your son is.
Dude, someone asked me, who was it that we were talking to on the phone yesterday? And they were like, well, how old are you, Cooper? Because you were introducing me to them. And I was like, I like forgot. I'm like getting to that age now where I'm forgetting my own age.
Yeah.
That's only going to get worse as I'm... How old are you?
Um, 25. No.
Yeah, nice.
No.
Nice.
No. 56.
Yeah.
56 young.
Yeah.
But I was saying about the fact that when a person is willing to say that there are no limitations and everything is an open book, that in order to be able to go there means there's been some healing in those areas in order to be able to talk about them.
Yeah.
So the reason why I brought that up is you know, if you've been to the Measured or if you know me personally, you know it from the father's point of view, and equally just as important is from the brother's point of view. Because as you've heard me say before, nobody's higher or lower. You got a beating heart, and you're living on this earth, then every life has equal value. So, so do you want to talk about that situation when your brother passed? And
I mean, what about it? I mean, there's a lot, right? Like,
well, yeah, there is, absolutely.
I mean, yeah, it was the worst time of my life. But also, I mean, there's so much intricacies into it, and like how it was terrible, but from him passing away also made me super like self-aware of, well, first off, my mortality, but also like things that I do and things that I'm doing, and realizing that like the things that I do towards other people, or even things that I do to myself, impact other people as well.
That's good.
I mean, I don't know how honest you want me to be.
Yeah, no, I mean, seriously.
I mean, when I was probably 11 years old, I was stealing my parents' cigarette butts and smoking those. And then my mom had insomnia, and she had sleeping pills named Ambien. And I was getting into those, stealing those, and then going up to the water park, selling those to seniors, and then using the money they gave me for my mom's sleeping pills. I was buying weed and smoking at 11 years old. And then I was taking the sleeping pills, and those things you can overdose on and die, especially when you're an 11-year-old at 100 pounds and all that. And I was going down a really bad path. I was like joining like not gangs, but I was joining like fake little gangs of like seniors that like walk around the skate park and do all that kind of stuff. And I feel like I probably would have gone down a really bad path. And then Ryan passed away, and then it like there was just like a shift in my brain, and it kind of like made me realize everything that I was doing and how it was affecting y'all and like all that. I don't know.
No, it's huge. I mean, you know, I always talk about that night before your brother passed, and I actually share it in the message about the fact that he was in the bathroom, and he was talking to your mom, and I had already gotten out of bed 3 or 4 different times, and I was going to get on to him because he didn't have school that next morning. He needed sleep. He was going to take you to school and then come back because he didn't have to go to school. And so I got up. I could hear where he was. He was in the bathroom talking to Laura, and I was just fixing to get on to him, and I heard him say these words, which of course stopped me in my tracks. It softened my heart, and I listened. And I've shared it with 128 schools now, is that he had shared with his mom. He said, "Mom, you and Dad need to pour into my brother the way you did me, because my brother's headed down the wrong road." And then of course I came around the corner and I told him, I said, I hear you, but you need to get to bed and you need to get to sleep. And so, you know, every one of us are
that was like his last request.
It really was.
You know?
And
then
it's not that we hadn't.
He ended up doing it himself, basically, because he passed away, and then like instead of it being like you and Mom like having to pour. I mean, y'all did pour into me, obviously, for the rest. Like even today, I mean, we talk outside and stuff, But he like it was like an instant flip, like it was an instant light shown to me in my brain, like the actions that I've been taking and like the consequences of the actions that I've been taking and like what can happen in the future and blah blah blah. And so his last request was fulfilled immediately. I mean, that's kind of crazy to think about. I never really thought about it that way.
Yeah, I mean, you took a. I mean, you know this as well. I mean, and we can share this on the audience. I mean, me and Mom were concerned about you at a very early age.
Yeah.
We knew, not that Ryan was perfect. I've never said that Ryan was perfect. Look, none of us are. You're not. I'm not. There's only one that is. And so, but we were never concerned on Ryan's faith. We were never concerned on his relationship. And
that's another thing too. I didn't believe in God before he passed away.
Oh, I remember the discussions inside the house many times.
Do you remember me telling you like that day that he passed away? When I was so I guess y'all don't know this, but everyone came over to our house. There was probably 80 people at our house.
It was huge.
And Ryan's best friends were in my room, and we were all like hanging around the room, kind of just grieving with each other. And I was on my bed, and Ryan's best friend Jesse at the time was on the bed too. And I remember like crying and sobbing into Jesse's chest, and I was like screaming, "Where are you?" Because I mean I didn't believe in God, and then my brother's gone, and I'm like, "Where are you?" You know what I mean? Because it was just like unfathomable. Because I mean I'm like 13, and I'm like, at one moment a human's here, and I can talk to them, and I can laugh with them, and I can joke around, do all that, and then he's not. And it's like, it's just kind of I mean, you just have to like experience death of a loved one in order to understand like, where are you? And so I was feeling that way, and I was screaming into Jesse's chest, "Where are you?" Sobbing, bawling my eyes out, and I had my eyes closed. And then all of a sudden I get like this vision in my head of the room that we're in, and instead of like seeing like colors and like the red or the woofs behind us, it's like a black and white version of the room. Mm-hmm. And then in the corner it was the outline of a human, and like there was no face, there's no distinguishing features, but I just knew that it was Ryan. And then he had like the blue like that, like the inside was like pure white glowing outside, and then the edges were like a shade of blue. And it was like I mean, I don't want to be cheesy, but it's like,
oh. It's not cheesy. No, it's not cheesy.
And like I just knew that it was Ryan. And then I didn't hear like an audible voice in my head, but it was like, "I'm here and I'm okay," or something like that. And I don't know if you remember.
I don't remember it very clearly.
I remember getting up off of Jesse's chest, and it was just weird because I had my eyes closed, but I could see the whole room. Like the room was more detailed than it ever was. And you say that we've got two realms going on. We've got the physical realm and the spiritual realm.
Amen.
And I think what I honestly think that happened there was that God allowed me to peer into the spiritual realm, because it was the room, but like there wasn't like a computer there where the computer was. It was just kind of like a shell of a room, but it was the room. And then I saw Ryan there, and I remember that happened. Sorry for cutting you off, but I remember that happened.
You can cut me off anytime.
And I sprinted out into the hallway and came down into the living room, and there's like probably 30, 40 people in there. And I remember like going straight to you. It was either straight to you or straight to Mom. I think it was you, because you were on the love seat behind the bar.
Yes.
And I sat on your lap, and I was like, "He's okay. He's all right."
I remember that too.
Did I say anything else other than that? I don't.
You said, "I just saw Ryan."
Yeah.
Daddy, he's okay.
Yeah. That was crazy. And then from that moment on, like I instantly was a believer. It was really weird, because like, I mean, it's one thing to like be a believer in God and then have like God talk to you, or like oh, God just spoke to me and told me to do this. But then you're like I believe, so maybe it was just me thinking that God, blah, blah. But like I denounced God before that, and I was like, that's not me. I don't believe in that. And then that happened. I'm like, what the heck was that? And I was immediately like on fire for God after that, and I was immediately a believer. That was wild. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's man, I didn't know we were gonna go there. See how beautiful these podcasts are when they're just organic and just letting it flow.
I love telling that story though, because that's like.
You just took me back though. I mean, because I hadn't thought about that story in a little while.
Yeah.
And
that changed my life.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about that story over the years, many different times, and I think somebody could put a lie detector test on you. And
no, I mean, I know that happened. I mean, you don't have to believe me. That's fine. But yeah, that was wild.
Yeah, no, you've talked about it many times, and so, man, that was, if Dallas is watching this, it was, remember Dallas being in the house?
He's the one that picked me up from the school with Mom in the passenger.
Yeah, I don't know if we go into that. It's going to be in the book, but...
oh, no spoilers? Okay.
Well, I can say it like this. First reports, Greg Ward, if he's watching, he can testify to it. I had been at the scene, and then I came back, and I was sitting on the front porch, and of course, I have words I can't even give, and pain. If your mother or father, you can know what I'm talking about. But I remember several people coming to me and saying, "Remember this?" They came to me and they said, "We saw three people in the vehicle." And
don't go too far into that, because the book's going to be really good about that.
Yeah.
So we've always speculated.
Well, I say that because he's the one who picked you up at school.
Yeah.
And
based upon
that was when I said, "You've got to go lay eyes on him. I've got to know."
Because you thought that I had probably passed away in there too.
Yeah. So.
And then we thought about it later on, and we thought it was.
And we know what it was.
Yeah.
Don't miss the book, because there's so much in there. It did not, measured by character and what's taken place over the last decade, just didn't start on April 6th. It started. It started at the laid foundations of the earth. So
I mean, it started with the relationship with your dad.
Absolutely.
And all of that.
It's
not really like
it's all the good, the bad.
I mean, it started at the beginning of humanity. I mean, it's basically
absolutely.
It's all a chain, and that's kind of what Measured is about: is just breaking the chain and making it the way that you want, because we got given free will.
Well, I want to go back to that one spot where you talked about looking at your own mortality even at that age, because
I thought for a second, this is very bad to think. I was like, man, now that I know God's real, there's no way that He would allow me to pass away.
Oh, we don't even want to go there yet.
I thought I was immortal for a little bit, because I was like, there's no way He would make my parents go through that.
Yeah, you remember me catching you on top of the roof trying to jump in the pool?
Yeah.
And then you told me that? Then you turned around and said, "Look, God took Ryan. There's no way God's going to let me happen." I said, no, we don't test God. Remember all that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not immortal.
Yeah. No. And, but I want to go back to that, because it's so powerful. Because in order to change a direction, change the heart, you can change the pattern. Change the heart, you can change the direction.
Yeah.
And what that requires, and I just spoke and preached this a couple days ago, is it takes that moment where you're looking in the mirror at your own mortality with the realization that you truly are not promised tomorrow. That, and you would agree with me, in our house was a house of faith. You would agree with that.
Yeah.
I mean, even though we would have, not arguments, but we would have hours of discussion on the couch.
Yeah.
About God, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's so beautiful what God can do. So, but even at that early age, you had a moment of clarity, of reality, of revelation, of the fact that of the fact that one day this was going to happen to you as well.
Yeah.
And then, of course, seeing what you saw and realizing that it's...
Seeing the Ryan on the side of the room? My vision or whatever?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. And then realizing that everything has a cause and effect. Everything has a butterfly effect.
Yeah.
Purpose, destiny, legacy, all of those things. I mean, I know that they're very powerful words, but they truly are. Find it right in His Word that every single one of us are walking that out. The question is what am I leaving behind? So that. I gotta say this as well. You know what's so powerful on this? Is that it's very clearly in His Word that says that He draws men unto Him.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can have things preached at you and preached at you and preached at you, but until it becomes reality of revelation within yourself.
Yeah, it's a personal choice.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't, what's that saying? You can't bring a horse to water.
You can bring a horse to water.
Yeah, you can bring a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. Yeah.
But you can't make it drink.
Yeah.
And hours of conversation about God on the couch to what is the commodity that can never be bought, which is time.
Yeah.
And time stood still. Ryan is in heaven, and you in a fraction of a second all of a sudden go, it is real.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, that was wild. You weren't expecting me to bring that up?
No, I wasn't expecting, but well, because, of course it's on the soul-searing moment in my, in my spirit that I can't even give words of cherishness on it. You know what I mean? Of that memory. Because, I remember when you got in my lap, I'm just shattered. I'm just broken into 1,000 pieces.
Yeah.
And for you to look at me with, and I remember very clearly you staring at me with 100% assurance.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Dad, he's okay.
Yeah.
Remember that part?
Yeah, I never really thought about how it made you feel. Were you were probably too deep into your grief to like...
I wasn't so deep as the fact that we're talking about it right now, and I remember you sitting on my lap and you looking at me and saying it the way that you said it. And also, I'm going to say this, it was also said with joy.
Yeah, I was happy. Okay, so it's weird because Ryan passing away, that day is like the worst day of my life. But it was one of the best days of my life because I got to know that he was at peace forever, and also that like I will be able to join him one day as well. Because it was like, because I lose him here in this realm, and that's terrible, and like all of that. But then I also gain being able to hang out with him for infinite on the other level. It's weird. I don't want you guys to think that I'm saying...
That's my boy. That's my boy. That's my boy.
Yeah.
I
don't want people to think though that like, his brother died on his best day of his life.
No, they didn't. I don't think y'all didn't take it that way. You can't put no value or no amount of money on an awakening.
Yeah.
That happens internally on the inside that does a complete change of course for the rest of your life.
Yeah. You're
going this way, right? And then all of a sudden you have an encounter, and then you turn around and you go this way. It's there's nothing more special than that. There's nothing more priceless than that. And then also on top of that, think about it this way, like the butterfly effect, right? Of the fact that you did then become a believer.
Yeah.
And then you looked in the mirror, and then you started, even though you had a mom and dad that was pouring those things into you, right?
Yeah.
Not that we were perfect, but you would have, back then, and I've said this before, back then, and my son would agree with this as well, is that you would call me a godly father, you would call me a godly husband, but
This keeps turning straight towards me, and you're not in the frame.
Well, it's probably because it really needs to focus upon you. Is that and I was, but there was still a lot of me. I would even go as high as 80% that it was my world and you're just living in it. It was my own self kingdom. In fact, let's talk about
side?
From my side.
Yeah, no, I could see that.
Yeah, I mean, walking in His will, is truly walking in His will. I have learned over the last decade is truly walking a surreal life. He lifts me high where I could not go and gives me peace, so I learned to let go. It's my mantra, but it is so true. Because I know what that life was before, 45.
Yeah.
And I know what it was after. And even though there's not even a pain level to the burying of a child, and I know this, I know it doesn't make earthly sense, but then when I truly did surrender, and I said, take it all, I've never been at more peace in my life.
Yeah.
So we're talking about the same content.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
That's how I felt too. Yeah.
So we're talking about the same content. And here's the beautiful thing is that all the things that we've experienced and we know that that there's a God and that there's a heaven, and we know that one day we will see each other again. We just know that.
That's the craziest thing is that with most families probably is that if you lost your firstborn child or whatever, it more than likely would split the family apart, right?
Mm-hmm. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Heartbreakingly.
Like the parents divorce because they can't get over it, and then the child goes wayward, or the leftover child goes wayward and all that kind of stuff. But it's weird because, or like you stop believing in God because it's like, how could a God do that? Mm-hmm. But it's like the exact opposite happened. I mean, like I didn't believe in God, and I feel probably very disconnected from my parents. And then, I mean, I can't really speak about your mom's relationship because I mean that's within the relationship that I'm not in, and instead of like splitting the family apart because Ryan passed away, it brought me to God, and then it brought me closer to you and to Mom, and then you and Mom didn't divorce, and then y'all even grew closer because y'all had to go through this hardship together, mm-hmm. and you stuck it out. And I mean that's all because of him.
Oh,
I mean,
good.
I know we're not trying to like preach to them and stuff.
No, but I say again one more time, that's my boy. So
it's just kind of crazy to think about, you know.
Well, then we went to this program called. Do we talk about that? Yeah, let's talk about that.
SOS.
Yeah. So we went to this program called SOS, and
that thing was amazing. It was a lady named Gretna, and
who has passed now.
She has passed away. What was her son's name? Ryan?
No.
What was her son's name? I don't remember.
I don't remember her son. Her son passed.
He passed in a car wreck. That's why I associated him with Ryan. But through her pain, she made this program called SOS, and it was for all the lost people, even if you don't think you're lost.
All walks of life.
All walks of life. And you come together and you get in this class with all walks of life, and there's probably 20 of you, and you go through everything. I mean,
peeling back the layers of the mask,
yeah.
Peeling back the layers of because we live in y'all have heard me talk about this before. We live in a broken world, and as we are walking through this world, if we're not doing something about it, we are creating barriers around our heart. We're creating masks because in a broken world we experience pain, we experience hurt, we experience hate, we experience all of these things, and if we don't do something about it, before long our hearts become cold
and steel, and
yeah,
you lose your inner child.
Yes.
And there's a thing in there where you like go find your inner child and apologize for abandoning them and all that kind of stuff. I mean, we don't have to go into that.
Yes. But let's talk about. But let's do this though, because it was really for me. I do call them soul searing moments, and there are moments in our lives that we are listening internally. It can radically change your life.
Yeah.
And I got to say this. This SOS program was not.
That's huge.
It was not. Well, I was going to say it like this. It was not. It wasn't cotton candy.
It was not easy. I mean,
it wasn't easy.
There was a lot of people that left.
Yes.
They would leave screaming. They're like, "How dare you make me have to like go through this?" Blah blah blah. Like,
it wasn't easy. And especially, I'm coming from. I think I might have been in a year and a half after Ryan's passing, so I'm just shattered.
Yeah.
And we were in one of the classes, and I'd already began. She handed a microphone to me. I tried to answer the question, but I answered the question, and I can look back on it now. I answered the question from my head and not from my heart.
Yeah, you answered
and
she answered it logically.
Logically.
She knew exactly what you were doing.
She could pick up on it like that. But also at the same time, I couldn't, because I was broken as well, I couldn't understand, and she was very gentle and kind with me, and she said, this might be just too early. And so, in my mind, I had...
Too early because...
Oh,
because of Ryan passing away.
Because of the grief.
And it's just too early to try and go through that in that program.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and Cooper didn't beg me, but Cooper really wanted me to go really bad.
Yeah, because I had gone first.
Yeah.
I went and I finished my first week. Because it was split into 2 weeks. There was the first week, and then you like got introduced to it, really dived down, and then got everything out. And then the second week was about getting the tools to make sure that you don't do what you've been doing and how to deal with things as you move on. First week was the chipping, and then the second week was the tools.
Well, and y'all have heard me say before that that the very moment that you think you have arrived, you are deceived.
Yeah.
Very powerful. I said that rolled out at one of the schools. It was actually at Quinlan when it rolled out. It's very powerful. And I bring that up because I remember Bonnie coming over to my house, who was also a part of the program. I remember her sitting on the couch with me, and she said, "Can you think of any issues that you have?"
Sorry, this is bothering me.
And she said, "Can you think of any issues that you have?" And I can't believe I said this, but I did. I was sitting there on the couch, and I said, "No, I can't think of any." And so I'm just being open. I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
And she said, "Oh, okay." And she said, "Well, I would hope that you would pray about showing up." So I did go. And now moving forward to this day that she asked me to give an answer, and I gave the answer from my mind, and then she told me I was in front of this big old huge class. She said it might be too early. I then checked out.
Oh yeah, you wanted to be one of the people that left. You
inside.
Were done. Yeah.
I didn't want to leave because I'm not a quitter, but I was like, well, if I can't get it.
Yeah.
If I can't get it, and I remember going inside and saying, "God, please show me. Please, please, I need help. I mean, please show me." Because it was almost as though I talk about all the time how the water can be very cloudy, or we can't see the forest for the trees, right? And that can happen more times than not. And so that's where my heart was. And once that occurred, I checked out in my head. I went and grabbed my suitcase. I started walking out. They did one of those. Remember how they would do the 2-minute time deal? And
they would give you a break to like go outside and
write your notes down.
Write it down how it made you feel. Blah blah. Kind of like a therapy type thing.
Yeah. So
and then Yeah, you had gotten your suitcase and you were leaving.
Yeah, I got my suitcase and I was leaving, and I was.
Oh, and by the way, he wasn't allowed. Like, I did the first week because, like I said, there's just 2 weeks. There's the first one that gets into your heart, and then the second one gives you the tools to use it and to move on with your life. And I'd gone through. I don't remember. Did I go through week 1 and then as I was in week 2, you were in week 1?
I honestly don't remember, son.
Well, whatever. I had already gone through it, and I had already done this, and basically there's things in there. I don't want to like. I don't know if you're gonna go in the book and all that. If you're gonna spoil anything. Okay, so they allow you to like write notes to your family members that go in there. And actually, you know what?
But don't give that.
Yeah, you
let me talk about that.
You do it, yeah.
Yeah, because that's where I was headed.
Yeah, okay.
So, because it radically changed my life to this very moment, and I mean that with what I'm fixing to say. So I checked out, didn't tell them, grabbed my suitcase. I'm starting to head towards the door. There's a table there that was by the entrance door. And I happened to glance as I was exiting the building. Yeah. I happened to glance and I saw a letter on this table. I totally know this 110% that God directed me to it. And I recognized that it was Cooper's writing on top of the letter.
Yeah.
And so, in my frustration, in my heat, knowing that I had just quit, I walked over there. It was Cooper's letter addressed to me. I opened it up, and there was one line in there that said, "Dad, I love you. Have you realized that you're not perfect?"
Yeah.
Oh! You want to talk about taking me to my knees? And I can't even. I put my suitcase down. I said, okay, that right there is exactly what I needed.
And I think I drew an outline of
you
my
did
hand.
Of your hand. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, it was an outline of your hand.
I said, you got this. If you need, here's my hand so you can hold it.
Oh. Radically changed my life. It's
because I mean you felt like you had like all the answers. Well, obviously not, but like you were very like put together, you know.
Well, I go back again. I mean, we live in a broken world, and if you didn't have a great childhood, and
you have to learn it all yourself,
and you become. You know,
you figure out your own ways.
There's an old saying that's a self-made man, but I still had a relationship with God. But I had many, many layers on me. Even I wondered for a period of my life why I hadn't shed a tear in 6-7 years. I remember that. Yeah. I remember that prayer to God. Why can't I cry? And there's some listeners that's listening, and if your heart has turned to a heart of stone, I will tell you that if you talk to Him, He will reveal it to you. So it was the catalyst of turning. Of course, I stayed in the program. I didn't quit. I stayed in, and then I was all in.
Yeah.
That one sentence made me be all in.
Yeah.
And I walked back into the room. There was 40, 50 people in there, and Gretna looked over at me and she goes, "I thought you quit."
Yep.
And I said, "Nope, you couldn't run me out of here." And she goes, "Well, would you like to address?" And she handed me the mic again. And this time it flowed out of the heart.
Yeah.
And
I figured out what the camera is. You keep going. And you're moving the camera.
I noticed this last time.
Over and over. Here.
I apologize. We apologize about that. Hold on. Don't lose anything.
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not. Put it right there. Is that too angled up?
Yeah. No, that's fine.
Okay.
So, we can have that crossroads Damascus moment where it can radically change us. And we sure didn't know that the podcast was going to go this direction. But I think
it needed to.
It's in this moment, we're talking about a change of direction that happened for you and happened for me. It happened for our family, and then and I'll say this as well. I was probably 20 schools in, and I made this plaque, and I took it back to Gretna and SOS, and I gave it to them. It was because, from his leading, to go to that program, to get down into Jesus says very clearly, unless you can humble yourself and become like a child, you won't enter into the kingdom of heaven.
Yeah.
And that whole program was centered about going back to the inner child.
Yep.
So it's very powerful. Well, where do we go to now? What do we talk about now? Let me say this one thing.
My bullet points here.
Well,
I don't know.
The other day, you made a post. Here's what...
My Twitter post?
Yeah, and I shared it on Facebook. So
Yeah.
it's down there in Facebook. And,
Yeah.
and I have it on my phone. And, of course, I can't get it because the phone is recording.
Oh, I think I can actually put it up in here.
Can you pull it up?
Yeah, I got it. I just started kind of like not caring on Twitter anymore.
That's good.
Because I'm in the gaming business, right? And
The most toxicity. Can I say that?
Yeah, it's pretty toxic. And
loss of identity.
I try my hardest not to talk about politics, God, and
But it shines through.
my own personal beliefs on anything. Blah blah blah. Like moral stuff, I definitely talk about, but I try not to. I try not to polarize people and like split people because I'm trying to grow and I'm not trying to like push people away and stuff. But on the whole God thing, I never wanted to make people feel like I'm preaching to them or anything like that. But on Twitter, and I say it occasionally on stream, but on Twitter I've started like if I feel led to it, I'll mention something about God. And what I said was discipline, hope, courage, and hard work. And I did a little key and said that God has given us the keys in the kingdom in this world. Use them. And discipline, hope, courage, and hard work are the keys.
Mm-hmm.
And, because, like, God shaped us in His image, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then if you say that God can do anything,
Mm-hmm.
and then we're made in His image, that means that we can do anything, as long as we use the keys that He gave us. So,
I'm gonna add on to that. So, the gifts and the callings of God are without repentance. And why is that so? It's because they are the tools in the toolbox, like a screwdriver to a Phillips head.
yeah.
They're the tools in the toolbox that He equipped you when He places us in our mother's womb,
Mm-hmm.
that He gave us in order to be able to walk our purpose out.
Yeah.
And our destiny that He has set for us. It's not that, unfortunately, heartbreakingly, there's a lot of people that think they just showed up. Science and history knows this well. Nobody has your fingerprint. Nobody has your retina. Nobody has your DNA. You truly are one of a kind. There's only one, and it is you. And what folds into that as well is that you have a unique purpose for this life, and you've already been equipped in order to be able to walk that out.
Yeah.
And when you said use those keys, that I know that you didn't pull from a scripture like I just did.
Yeah, it was off the top of my dome.
Yeah, it was. Well, you made a statement a long time. You remember me saying, "Son, I need a quote from you." Son, I need a quote from you. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Because Ryan, to create does not always mean to build, but rather to chip away from ourselves.
Yeah.
Then his second quote is I'm on top of the world when there's nobody in the world left to love.
Yeah.
And I wanted, being a father, I wanted a quote from Coop. and you can understand that. And so I asked him 3 or 4 times, and I still remember the day that it came in. I was in the truck, you were at school, and you sent it to me while you were sitting in class.
Yeah, I think I don't remember exactly what it was, but there was I don't remember what she was talking about, but there was a girl in school, and she was talking about something about her getting labeled about being this way or something like that. And I remember the quote came to me because I said it to her. I said nothing labels you except for your heart in this current moment.
Mm-hmm.
And then I thought about you, and I was like, oh damn, that's pretty good. Sorry for saying that word, but
well, it is good, and it's so true. It says very clearly that out the abundance of your heart does your mouth speak. So where we're at in the present heart of the moment is also a direct result of what we're looking at in our identity. I will say that it feathers in that.
Yeah,
because it has to flow from that.
From the heart. Yeah. Well, it's like what was that guy's name? Where he like in the Bible he was like a really bad dude and then became a good dude.
You're talking about Saul to Paul.
Yeah.
From Saul to Paul.
Yeah, and instead of like, oh, you are still Saul, it's like he in this present moment he's changed. I mean, he's different. And so whatever you've done or anything that's ever happened to you, that doesn't have to label you. I mean, you technically, you label yourself, right? Like if anyone ever says anything to
we
you,
are our own worst enemy.
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
If anyone ever says anything to you, you are still the one that picks it up and accepts that label. You can always deny a label and make your own path and choose who you are. I mean,
and there's power on that.
Yeah.
Well, and when you're never told I love you, and when you're never told you matter, and when you're never told I'm proud of you, and when you're never told that you're never told those words, we can look at that as being a victim, or we can, like a cow chewing on curd, process, meditate on the fact that what those words that we never heard that had an effect on us. Because I'll be 110%. The reasons why, and before I say this on camera, was there ever a time in our home since you were a baby?
No, you always told me you love me. You definitely changed that. You did. But I feel like you just bunny trailed. You were on.
No. You're. That's exactly where I was at.
Okay.
Is the fact that.
Even though you were told, you're never told that.
But I knew what those felt like.
Yeah.
And then this is where we need to get to society. Is regardless of whether or not your dad was an alcoholic or your mother was never a nurturing mother, or because. Again, the world is broken, and there's many things that happen, or you don't even have a father in the home, and we can be our own worst enemies, and we can look at the world, and we can become our own personal victim instead of being victorious. And you can have the power. You have given by free will choice decision. You have the power to rewrite that. I'm a living testimony to that, and I'll testify to it.
Yeah, because you never heard it. And all of the things that happened to you decided to change that with me and Ryan.
Absolutely.
And so now I grew up hearing I love you all the time.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to change that and never tell him I love him. That's just a joke.
I know. Well, I don't think you've been imprinted so much that I don't think that it's just not your character. You're imprinted in a different way. I mean, I know what you've done. I've seen where you've taken the time with some of those kids and poured into them privately, for the ones who have shared with you about that their life doesn't matter and it has no meaning. And I remember back at the house, you were counseling at the age of 18.
Yeah.
One-on-one.
Yeah.
I mean,
I do that on my stream still.
yeah. I mean, it's a dad can never be more proud. He can never be. He just can never be more proud. It's been a beautiful ride, and I think we need to go back before we turn this thing off. We're right at about an hour. We love y'all for sticking with us and listening.
It's been an hour. It's
been an
it's
hour,
going
believe
by
it.
fast.
I know. It always does when it just flows.
Yeah.
And
We got to figure out a different situation from this camera because I keep looking at it and I'm like, I just like tilt it a little bit, move it to the side a little bit, and it keeps moving.
I got 3 words for you. Ready? Are you ready? Peace
and release.
in release. Let it go.
I know. And we talked about everything.
I think we go back to before we close off because Shore didn't know that we were going to hone in and bullseye on the change of direction like we did. We don't even have it written down there.
That's really mostly what we talked about, huh?
Yeah, but
That's funny.
but it would be the key to life.
Yeah. I mean, it is, yeah.
It's
Free will, basically. It's the greatest gift, and that's what we talked about. Because I mean, free will is what allows you to make the change. Like you're not ever stuck. You know, just because your father was a drinker and an abuser doesn't mean that you have to be, or whatever the vice may be.
Mm-hmm. You're not your father or your mother's sin,
Yeah.
and you're not. And if you're above ground, and you have the power to choose, you can choose it. And
I think a lot of people though, like, they hear that they like, oh, you can change it, you can do that. But it's definitely like the same way as in I all of a sudden became a believer because it was like an awakening, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like a flip of a switch.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's also kind of the same. It's called consciousness awakening, where all of a sudden you realize that even though you've been told it, but then it's like your heart really picks it up.
Absolutely. Well, and that's when the rubber meets the road.
Yeah. What does that mean?
Right? Well, that means that there's no more fluff. There's no more rope that you can hold on to. It's now
It's straight on a road.
Yeah, I mean you're looking directly into it. Which if you can look directly into something, you can begin to make it different. You can begin to make a change. And case in point, I won't go too far into it. I know I referenced the book several times, but it's a long story. That's why, and we're fixing to close off. But I remember the day on my horse with my dog down there. I was looking at a pond. I look up in the clouds and I said, God, if you actually do exist, you know the story. I've shared it with you. I said, God, if you actually do exist, I said, I'm begging you to be my father.
Yeah.
To teach me.
Yeah.
And to show me. Because I want kids one day. And I want to be able to be a father to them that I hadn't received up to that point.
Yeah.
And look, how many years ago has that been? That's been...
You're 15 or something like that?
I
16?
was right around 13 or 14. So, I mean, we're talking 40-something years.
That's kind of crazy that your change of life and like your belief in God was the same age as me, 13.
You know, I didn't think
Didn't even think about that?
Yeah.
It's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Well, I had some other kind of experiences that were kind of before that, but that's for another time. Okay, we love y'all. Man, this has been great. It's just been, I say it all the time, real, raw, and relevant. Just letting it flow from the heart. If this message has spoke to you, please put a comment down there. As we move forward, we're going in the summertime now for Measured. We're going in the summertime now, which really ramps us up. We already have an official date of our first school, the first week, them going back there setting the precedents. We look to have 30 to 40 schools for this next calendar year. It's going to be a very busy year. But if this message has spoke to you, please put something down there in the comments. I know my son would love to see that, and I would too. And
like it, share it, comment, and subscribe.
is that how you do it?
Well, on YouTube, I'm like, leave a like, comment, and subscribe, or something like that. But the Facebook, is this what this is going on?
Yeah, this is good. Well, I'll put it on Facebook and I'll put it on YouTube.
So yeah, share it if you're on all those, and subscribe. Do all the things. Click all the bells. Do all that.
Do you want to say something to them? I normally do a close off. Do you want to say something to them directly, Coop, from your heart?
I mean, I don't really have much. I mean, I was saying everything that I wanted. I feel like I was speaking to you, but I was also speaking directly to them. I mean, about free will, change it. I mean,
well, listen, I don't know where you're at in your life right now. I don't know what season you're in right now. But I do know this 110% is that you matter and you're still above ground. And your life story up to this point is unique. It's priceless. And that story needs to be shared because it will speak to other human beings that might be going through some of the same familiar territory that you're in. So let's finish it off with...
Sorry, I also want to say though as well. You said share it, but also don't just like forget it either. I mean, you don't have to share it with other people, but at least like think about it at least. Because I know a lot of people, they just don't even think about it, and they just go along their life without really like even like digging into it. You know what I'm saying?
Perfectly said.
Like it's just buried there instead of like there's one thing to like, and then there's multiple layers to it, right? It's like even realizing that it's there, and then realizing it, and then going through it in your own brain, and then finding the courage, if you ever do find the courage, to even share it with other people. So
yeah. Wade White, Measured by Character, I love you. I thank you for staying with us all this time. On our brother's quote, his brother, my son, on the words of Ryan Blakely White, I'm on top of the world when there's nobody in the world left to love. And regardless of whether you those emotions, man, they can come and go like the wind. You are loved. If you're watching this, I want you to know you are loved,
and you matter,
and we need you. And do not throw in the white towel. Goodbye.
It's never over.